Detective Comics, The Batman, appearing in this issue and in every issue. The Batman, weird figure of darkness, again prowls forth to strike another blow against crime. The Batman, by Bob Kane. Police Commissioner Gordon sits chatting with his friend Bruce Wayne, unaware that he is the Batman. I tell you, Bruce, if I ever catch the Batman... Pardon me, sir, but someone wants to see you. Says it's urgent. A wild-eyed man rushes into the room. Commissioner, I've got to talk to you. It's very important. Well then, what's up? You can talk freely. This is Bruce Wayne, a friend of mine. As you already must know, I am a sort of collector of curios. I even have a small museum of my pieces. A few nights ago, I received a visitor. Perhaps you've heard of me. My name is Lennox, Sheldon Lennox. Why, you're the globetrotter and explorer. But what do you want of me? I've heard you buy rare curios, so I've brought you something. While exploring a cave in India, I stumbled across a stone pedestal and found this. There before me stood the largest piece of ruby I had ever seen. It was carved into a little hideous statue, gleaming as red as blood. What is it? A solid chunk of ruby representing the ancient Hindu idol, Kila, god of destruction. Of course, I had to have it, and so I bought it from Lennox. 5 days ago I received a threatening note. We, the followers of Kila, command you to return our god to the temple from which it was stolen, or else he will bring destruction upon you. Just an hour ago I received another note, this one. Already, destruction visits Lennox, the guilty one. You yet may save yourself if you return Kila to me. Great Scott, man! We haven't a moment to lose. Lennox is in great danger. Bruce, are you coming? Why not? Hindu idol, worshippers, death notes? All sounds very melodramatic. Maybe I'll write a story about it. Siren wailing. The police car speeds through the streets. There they are! They've got him. After them, Commissioner. The chase begins. They've hit a tire. Watch out! The touring car suddenly stops on the wharf's edge. For Kila! There is a scream, a splash, a Hindu's defiant shout. Kila is avenged! They've killed him! Yes, and thrown his body into the river. The rats! They got away, sir. I'll get the boys to drag the river for the man's body. From now on, Weldon, you and that infernal idol of yours will be guarded by my men. They'll probably pay you a visit next. I'm going back to headquarters now. Coming along, Bruce? No, Commissioner. I think I'll go home and write that story. The next day, noted explorer is murdered by Hindus. Police drag river for body of Lennox. Body not yet found. Lennox sold millionaire Weldon precious statue carved of valuable ruby. Sheldon Lennox. Many people seem interested in the news, especially about the ruby idol. You know, Joe, that hunk of ruby must be worth an awful lot of dough. You said a mouthful, Mike. An Oriental named Sin Fang also seems interested. Soon now, soon, when the police are taken away. A few weeks later. And so I think you can take your men away now. The ruby idol is in a burglar-proof glass, and I'm sure I'm safe enough. Weldon, it's your ruby, and it's your life. I'll call my men off at once. And so this grinning idol of ruby is left unguarded, bearing its curse of death. So Weldon has taken the police away. I've got a hunch something's going to pop tonight, and I want to be there when it does. When the police are away, the rats will play. I think the Batman will take a hand in this game. That night, the Weldon estate. Uh-oh. Someone here already. Come on! Ain't you got that alarm disconnected yet? Need any help, boys? The Batman! Get him! Don't you know it's dangerous to play with knives? The other gangster rushes up from behind and catches the Batman in a deadly headlock. Oh! You broke my arm! Oh! The Batman turns just in time to meet the first man. So, you still want to play, eh? Suddenly, new figures appear on the scene. Hindus. This time you'll stay out. The club crashes down upon the Batman. Here, Kila! Quick! The Hindu smashes the case as the alarm rings loudly. Hist! The alarm! Quick! Take the idol! The dazed Batman regains consciousness. But the alarm has warned the guards. There's one of them! Grab him! The case is smashed! It's gone! I hate to do this, buddy. The Batman races across the floor. Sorry I can't stay, boys. Leaps for the chandelier. But I really must go. And swings out. The Batman clutches a branch. And drops to safety. The Batman dashes to his high-powered roadster. That's the Hindu's car. Maybe I can still catch them. Then pursues his prey. The Batman trails his quarry into Chinatown. The Batman, unnoticed by the Hindus, watches at a safe distance. Sin Fang. I've got to find out about him. Later, the home of Wong, unofficial mayor of Chinatown, a wise and honest man. Oh, who are you? Some call me the Batman. I have heard of you. You are a good man. You fight all evil. But what can the Batman want of Wong? Information about one called Sin Fang. The Batman tells Wong his story. From what you have told me, I have no doubt that the ruby idol will be cut into small pieces and then sold, for Sin Fang is really a receiver of stolen goods. You must be careful of Sin Fang. The Batman decides upon a bold ruse. That very night. You! The Batman! Yes, I've come for the ruby idol. Surely the great Sin Fang does not care to deal with stolen goods. I had not realized it was stolen. If it were known that Sin Fang dealt with stolen goods, his reputation would suffer. Follow me, and I will return the idol. You're a smooth talker, Sin Fang, but I'm wise to you. Suddenly, as Sin Fang opens the door, two giant Mongols wielding large, curved swords rush forward. Ducking beneath the first slashing blade, the Batman clutches the man's wrist and hurls him backwards upon the other's upraised sword. Then springs forward and crashes his fist against the jaw of the astonished Mongol. And that's that. Forgive me. The guards seeing your masked face thought you were an enemy. It was purely an accident. I forgive you. Lead on, my friend. As Sin Fang steps out of the room, the door suddenly slams shut upon the Batman. Gas! Mustard gas! He reaches quickly for a particular glass vial in his belt and slams the pellet against the wall. I hope I picked the right vial. The gas from the pellet quickly mixes with the deadly mustard gas. There. That did it. The mustard gas is now harmless. I've just had another little accident. You've got bad plumbing in your house, Sin Fang. There is gas escaping from the pipes. I shall have it remedied at once. In the next room, Sin Fang steps behind a wall, and... Just a moment, and I'll get the idol for you. Suddenly, the Batman drops through a trapdoor. This time die, Batman! It is no accident! Down, down, down falls the Batman to a watery grave. If I can just grab that pipe. Got it! And the Batman's clutch for safety is successful. That trapdoor is slightly open. If I stood on this pipe and leaped, I could just about reach it and get out of here. A few minutes later, the Batman is free. Whew, that was a tight squeeze. Now for Sin Fang, and settle a little score with him. The Batman soon finds his foe. He stealthily opens the door. With the Batman disposed of, no one can take you from me, my precious Ruby. Ha! The Batman. If he had known who I am. Ha ha ha! Suddenly, the Oriental begins peeling off the skin of his hands, revealing white flesh underneath. With these yellow skin gloves off, this makeup washed off, and I really am Sheldon Lennox. You! Alive! I had a feeling you were behind all this, especially when the police failed to recover your body from the river. You needed money, and made a deal with Sin Fang to cut up the ruby. You made use of the destruction legend it was supposed to have, and wrote those notes. You hired those fake Hindus, staged your death, and then had the ruby stolen. Where is Sin Fang? Have you killed him? We had a quarrel, over money, so I killed him, and since I speak Chinese, I made up to look like him and took his place. A gun suddenly appears in Lennox's hand. And now, Batman, it is your turn to die. As a shot tears through the Batman's cape, he reaches for the ruby idol, Kila, and hurls it at Lennox. Lennox falls through the open window and hurtles to his death. Ah! With bitter irony, across the crushed body falls the blood-red idol, Kila, God of Destruction. Next day, at police headquarters. That Batman, he's done it again. He's making the police department look ridiculous. I wish I could get my hands on him. Don't miss the next exciting episode of the sensational Batman, as he crashes through to smash another blow at crime, next month. Spy by Jerry Siegel. Illustrated by Maurice Kashuba. Loaded with young merrymakers, the pleasure boat Swell Time sets out to sea for a 4-hour cruise. Dance music, gay laughter fills the air, and yet, the black night shrouds the steamer, as though in anticipation of an impending disaster. A short distance away, beneath the sea. Fire! The news. Steamer Swell Time torpedoed. Mystery submarine vanishes. Washington, D.C., headquarters of the U.S. Secret Service. It's bad enough that the European nations Luxor and Borealia are at war. The United States must remain out of the conflict. That unknown sub must be located and destroyed. I'll do my best, sir. Suspecting that the submarine belonged to Luxor, an aggressor nation, Bart visits the Luxorian embassy. I'd like to see Ambassador Ludorf. Sorry, sir. The ambassador is not in. Ludorf. Departing from the embassy. Why was I misinformed? I think I'll trail him and find out. Keeping inconspicuously distant, Bart follows the ambassador to the Kennedy Hotel. This may be a wild goose chase, but there's no harm in finding out. Darting within a room adjoining the one Ludorf had entered, Bart prepares to get an earful. This sensitive microphone ought to do the trick. If the submarine escapes undamaged, Luxor will attack the United States. Should it be destroyed, proving the American forces alert, the planned invasion will be abandoned. Anxious to learn the identity of the man conversing with Ludorf, Bart peers through the door's transom. Von Klotz, the famous Luxurian World War subcommander. But Von Klotz glimpses Bart's reflection within a mirror. A spy! When Ludorf departs from the hotel, Bart exultantly follows. Now I'm getting somewhere. Unaware that he himself is being followed. I'll dispose of him quickly. As Bart reaches an alley, Von Klotz asks, "What the? Get in there!" A bullet streaks past Bart, narrowly missing his ear. "Take that, you spying dog! You got me unexpectedly from behind, but now..." Von Klotz smashes the butt of his gun against Bart's head. "Hey! What's going on here? Another few moments and I'd have been able to dispose of that spy. I think I'll run you in for disorderly conduct. It's all right, officer. I'm a member of the Secret Service." Swiftly, Bart returns to the Kennedy Hotel. The gentleman you referred to returned and checked out a few minutes ago. Thanks. What rotten luck. But as Bart departs from the hotel, so we meet again. Step lively. If you think that you can get away with your subversive activities, you will refrain from talking. Out! Out of that car! Going to finish the job that was interrupted in the alley, eh? And that's how we dispose of bungling spies. They'll find no trace of him until our work is done, and we have departed. I must congratulate you upon having handled this so skillfully. But just before the auto drives off, a drenched figure drags itself from the pond and attaches itself to the car's rear. Good thing I wore a bulletproof vest under my clothes. The car races for half an hour before it stops. They're entering that cave. But why? Following in stealthily pursuit, Bart trails the two down into the cave. Wonder what this leads to. The mystery submarine! We're succeeding thus far in escaping detection. It's time we sank another vessel. By all means. Meanwhile, Bart knocks out a member of the sub's crew and changes into the unfortunate man's clothes. So far, so good. Now if I can only enter the sub undetected. As the crew members file into the submarine, Bart is among them, his head lowered. Out to sea speeds the murder-bent sub. Ah! A vessel squarely before us. Prepare to fire. Don't any of you move. But a crew member seizes Bart from behind. What the? Hold him! So you escaped destruction. Well, this time I'll aim for your head. No, you won't. Drop that gun. I'm a Baralian spy. Get their guns. Only too delighted. Now what? This. That's right. Into the torpedo tube with him. Up toward the water's surface streaks Bart's unconscious body, propelled by the torpedo tube. More fuel. More. More. But the motors can't stand it. It's suicide. Revived by the cold water, Bart sees the surface churn as the sub explodes to fragments. And that's the end of the mystery submarine. Later, at intelligence headquarters. Since the destruction of their submarine, Luxor has evidently given up the idea of invading the United States. All homage should go to that unknown Baralian spy, who heroically sacrificed his life so that the sub would perish. The end. Buck Marshall, Range Detective, by H. Fleming. Branded yellow. Crouched behind a clump of rocks and bushes beside the dusty wagon trail, Buck Marshall, Range Detective, awaits the arrival of the gold-laden stagecoach from Nugget Gulch. Here it comes. Time I put on my mask. I'm taking a mighty long chance playing road agent, but it's all in a day's work. Pull up there. Hey, you! Drop that scattergun. Toss down that strong box and move fast. What strong box? Blast ya! I'll scorch your hide with sizzling. Now then, I said throw down that strong box. Pronto, if you're particular about your health. Okay. Take it easy, mister. At Buck's command, the stage driver leaps to the ground with the strong box. Buck then orders him to unlock it. By thunder, you won't get nothing from this but a length of hemp around your neck. This is the 4th holdup this year. Now then, take those bags of gold out of the box and hide them somewheres in the stage. Then get going before I cut loose. What? Did you ever see such a locoed galoot? Throwing us back the gold and just taking the box? Hey! Look there! Coming over that ridge. 6, 7 riders. Looks like that hooded gang that held us up last spring. When the stage has rattled out of sight, Buck pulls some canvas bags from beneath a rock and puts them in the box. I'd like to see the faces of that gang when they hear I have beaten them to the gold shipment. All set, and it won't take any Nahavo tracker to follow my trail either. In the meantime, the gang of gunmen, wearing black hoods, witness the stage hold up by Buck from the top of the ridge. Get after him! He's getting away with the gold shipment! He's beat us to it! Buck gets a glimpse of the bandits as they separate to close in on him. With a touch of the spur, Pepper bounds forward. I'll give those buzzards a run for their money. Free, skunk! Sky your paws! As he rounds a turn in the trail, he reins in his horse suddenly, to its haunches. Shortly afterwards, the rest of the hooded band rides up. With a gun barrel at his back, Buck starts away with them. So you figured on getting away with the dust, eh? Well, you won't need no dinero where we're taking you. After a long ride, over a mountain trail, the bandits lead Buck to the entrance of a canyon. Zeke, you and Rod take this coot up to the camp, and lock him in the shack. I'll get the boss. We can't open the box till he comes. Buck is taken into the camp, and ordered to dismount. Then, he is shoved through the door of a shack. Get in there! Well, things have worked out about the way I planned, except that I didn't figure on being locked up. There's no doubt but what this is the gang that's responsible for the recent holdups and bank robberies. From what conversation I've overheard, I've got a hunch that these same coyotes wearing black hoods are posing as respectable ranchmen around Gold Creek. Later, hearing footsteps outside the shack, Buck glides over to the bunk and lies down. Somebody coming. I'll make believe I'm asleep. Suddenly, the door opens. Then a hooded figure enters, carrying a plate of food in one hand and a gun in the other. Hey, you! Here's your chuck. Shucks. Looks like he's asleep. I got my suspicions about this yap. Maybe he's just... Buck waits until the fellow leans forward. Then he leaps up, His fist shoots out with a crushing jolt to the other's jaw. Quickly, he sweeps up the fellow's gun. One peep out of you and I'll make that hood look like a sieve. In another moment, he binds his hands and feet. Then, he eases out of the door which he padlocks. The camp appears deserted to Buck from the shack. Suddenly, he leaps behind the boulder as he hears voices from the corral below. It's a good thing we got that gold away from that gink in the shack. The boss would have been furious if it got away. Yeah, we better not miss on that raid on the bank this afternoon. Under cover of boulders and brush, Buck cautiously makes his way over to his horse, tethered at the other side of the camp. They haven't heard me yet. In a few moments I'll be out of earshot. Once outside of the mouth of the canyon, Buck leaps into the saddle and heads for Gold Creek. If I can only get there before they pull that raid. As Buck nears the edge of the town, he catches a glimpse of a rider on the trail above him. I'd recognize that horse anywhere. That's one of the gang. I'll trail him. He's gone into that shack. Buck and the sheriff are interrupted by shots outside. A man comes rushing in. Sheriff, the bank's just been robbed. The hooded gang again. What? A couple of hours after the robbery, a man rides into town with a dead body across his saddle. Buck presses forward to get a look. By thunder! It's Zeke Brown! Where did you find him? Up on the trail. He must have chased the hooded gang and got drilled. Sheriff, I'd like to take a look at that body. Sheriff, this hombre you call Zeke Brown was one of the hooded gang. He got a slug during the bank robbery. See that yellow stain on his hand? That came from his glove. I found some aniline powder on a shelf, such as is used to dye leather. I put some in each glove. Sure, I get it. The hand sweats, the dye runs, and it doesn't wash off so easily either. Slick idea. Say, the others would have it on their hands too. Any of you gents object to raising your hands? Suddenly, Rod Cunn, who had brought in the body, leaps aside, his hand darting to his holster. Blast ya! I expected that, Cunn. We'll put this coyote through the 3rd degree and find out the names of the rest of the gang. Thanks to you, Buck. I hope we can get him past this crowd. The end. Steve Malone, District Attorney, in The Kidnapping Racket, by Don Lynch. Connie Galashan, kidnapped. No clues. Van Snagworthy condemns Malone's handling of kidnappings. Second big kidnapping this week. $100,000 ransom demand. No word from District Attorney as kidnappings continue. District Attorney Malone and some of his staff. Boys, these crimes have all the earmarks of an organized racket. Probably the same gang that's been working the retailer's racket. The ransom notes are identical in both cases. Steve's secretary, Nancy. Mr. Van Snagworthy and the other members of the Citizens Committee are here. Send them in, please. Malone, the committee demands to know along what lines you are conducting your investigation of these kidnappings. I'm sorry, gentlemen, but I can give you no information at this time. They seem sore, Steve. They're giving some most unfavorable reports to the press. As usual, they bucked against me all through the retailer's racket investigation. By gosh, that's our first clue. Larry, get 2 private dicks not known to local racketeers. Have them meet us at 6 in the back room of Tony's Spaghetti House. Here's the setup, boys. I suspect that the kidnappers are the same gang that has been working the retailer's racket. When we started our investigation, they quit that racket and went in for wholesale kidnapping. Now I want you boys to visit some of the gang's old victims and start to work the retail racket again. They'll come out of their hideout to stop you. You apologize, then tell them you have plans to snatch a wealthy girl, but need some help. If they're in the kidnapping business, they'll jump at it. We'll arrange a phony kidnapping, then follow them to their hideout. Good luck, boys. Call me until morning for our kidnapping plans. Okay, buddy. Let's have your dues. It's not due yet. I paid the other fellows only a few days ago. Come on. Fork over. Or else. Steve's private detectives go to work and make their returns to Steve. Not a bad haul. Well, put it in the safe, Nancy. At the gang's hideout. What do you say, Monk? Let's put a stop to this hijacking. Why, we're being robbed. Okay, boys. I guess it will be all right, now that the DA is giving his full attention to our kidnapping activities. Steve's men are taken. Get into that car. Malone's men are taken to the hideout. The gang decides to help them pull their kidnapping. Hello, Steve? It's all set. They went for the idea in a big way. Great. Now here are our plans. Nancy, Steve's secretary, plays the part of the victim in Steve's planned kidnapping. Steve follows the kidnappers. The hideout. Park the car here, Larry. Follow me, boys. Malone and his men cautiously approach the hideout. While inside, one of the gang reports, "Hey, Monk! We've been followed. There's a bunch of guys coming up this way. They must be within 200 yards of the creek." Great. There's only one bridge over that creek. We'll mow them down as they come across. Let's go. There's the hideout, on the other side of the creek. They must be waiting for us, boys. All their lights are out. Hidden by low shrubs, Malone and his men crawl toward the bridge and carefully swing across beneath it to the opposite shore. There they are, hiding in that clump of trees directly ahead. Larry, you go around the bend and put the searchlight on them. The rest of you fellows, spread out. Malone's men send a volley of shots over the gang's heads. We're surrounded! You're darn right you are. As the two private dicks pounce on them from the rear. Larry, take the girls back to town, and send a patrol wagon to take this gang to the jug. We've got everybody now except the big chief, and Monk here is the only one that knows him. Monk, when the boss calls, you're going to tell him to meet you in the town hideout to make final arrangements for the ransom payments. The call from the big boss comes, and Monk follows instructions. At the gang's town hideout, Steve awaits the arrival of the big boss. The door opens, and a tall figure enters. Ah, Mr. Van Snagworthy. Here with the complaint from the Citizens Committee? Van Snagworth, I first suspected you when you refused to cooperate in the retailer's racket investigation. Again when you tried to get information on the kidnappings. The end. Speed Saunders, Ace Investigator, and the Voodoo Vengeance by Fred Gardiner. In a Cuban nightclub. Don't like the looks of that fellow. Seems... Oh, here comes Rita. The famous Roomba dancer, Rita from Rio. What's that? A dart. She passed out cold. There must be something behind this, to shock her so. Really, it is nothing. I'm a detective, lady. It's my business to... Whoa. The note that was tied to the dart. Your refusal to obey the instructions is known. Unless you obey the Snake Master, your fate is sealed. Come on. What's it all about? I know nothing. Nothing. Well, if you won't talk, I tell you it's voodoo stuff. No, no, you must not say that. It will mean my death. Speed pursues his investigations alone. Professor, I came to you as an authority on tribal lore. To what tribe does this dart belong? Obviously a Cuban dart of the Tongo tribe. Pardon me, the telephone. The phone call is for Speed Saunders. Rita from Rio? Dead? I'll be right over. When did this happen? Only a little while ago. A girlfriend of Rhea came to see her, and found this. Garroted. By Haitian hemp. This requires action. Early the next day, Speed confers with the police head. There's a cult of voodooists functioning in Cuba. They caused this girl's death. I'm going to follow Rita's girlfriend, who is sailing tonight. From the New York Cuban dock, a liner weighs anchor. On the deck of the King of Cuba. You're Yolanda, Rita's girlfriend. You wanted her to come on this trip with you. Why? Please, I am afraid. I want to avenge Rita's death, and break up this voodoo cult that caused her death. Will you help? Yes, I'd give all I own to break their grip on me. While she danced in a Cuban nightclub, she was made to join this voodoo cult. Rita was asked to kill someone, and she refused. They killed her. I thought I might get Rita to come to New York with me, and get away from this cult, but I arrived too late. I've got to get to the source of this cult. We'll return to Cuba. Days later, while walking along the Cuban waterfront. That dart! Pick it up after I leave you. Don't read it until I'm gone. Meet you at Jake's. Right. Later, at Jake's rum house. The note was a warning to get rid of you. Then I'll leave. But I'll see you tonight. Listen! Those drums. The Rada drums. What do they say? In the distant foothills. Over hill and valley, the Rada drums boom forth. Those drums call the cult to meeting. Tomorrow night. Look out! Well, the dart thrower at last. Here I come. You asked for it, brother. Here's for everything. The fellow I saw in the nightclub when I first saw Rita. Come on, get up. I want your confession. If you don't talk, I'll get word to those drummers that you betrayed them. Not that. I'll talk. I killed Rita. I was ordered to. By the Snake Master, who governs us all. You were next to die, for we could not scare you off the trail. Now, kill me. The snake comes from the Master. Nonsense. I'll take care of the snake. I'm going into the foothills, after the Snake Master. I'm letting myself in for something, but it's gotta be done. From behind the detective comes a sudden cry. Wait! Speed Saunders! You are walking to your death! Ahead of you, a snake pit waits. You would walk into it unknowingly, then poof! I shall lead you. You've got courage, Yolanda. We go by the upper road. Look below you. Oh, I'd have walked right into it too. The hidden snake pit. There is the Snake Master. The Voodoo Snake Master. One night a year he is seen like this. You are lucky indeed. It is now or never. I may not bring him out alive, but I'm going to put an end to him. Through the throbbing of the drums rings a wild cry. Yeah! My sacred snake is shot. Slay this intruder with hot irons. No, you don't. I've got to work fast. What a spot to be in. Yolanda! A poisoned dart. They were afraid he'd talk. If they killed me, they'd start an investigation. Instead, they killed him. A few days later, homeward bound, with the passing of the Snake Chief, the cult is no more. You can sleep soundly at night now. You have performed the impossible, Speed Saunder. The end. Cosmo, the Phantom of Disguise. Illustrated by Sven Elvin. As the radio flashes the day's news, Dr. Gaston Dupre, one of the most dangerous criminals of the day, commits suicide in Wayne State Prison. Cosmo hears the report. So, that's the end of my illustrious friend who intended to rule the world. Well, it's best so. Cosmo drops in on Inspector Gray. Hello, Gray. Have you heard the latest flash about Dupre's death? Glad you dropped in, Cosmo. Yes, and I've got more information for you too. Just came in. Being a medical man, Dupre was put in the prison's hospital ward. He had free access to the laboratory, and this morning he was found dead, a poison vial beside him. But here's where you come in. He's disappeared from the morgue. How? No one knows. Thought you'd like to look into this thing. Of course our regular department is on the job too. Well, it's a queer case. Of course I'll poke into it. I'd like to run up to Wayne and look around. I'll drive up there on the quiet. No use advertising the news I'm on the case. Well, Gray, I'm on my way. So long, Cosmo. Hope you turn up something interesting. Good luck. Cosmo arrives at the Wayne prison. I'd like to see Warden McNary on an important matter. Just wait in here. He'll be back soon. The warden enters. Mr. McNary, I am Cosmo, Special Investigator. I've come to see you about... Oh, why yes, I recognize you now. Cosmo. Come, sit down. I helped to capture Dr. Dupre, if you remember. But what happened yesterday? Did he really die? Oh yes. Our physician made a thorough post-mortem. He died from strychnine. Dead for hours. Let's have a look at the laboratory and the morgue anyhow. Sure, but the police have run all over the place already. Yeah, there isn't much to go on here. But I don't see how he could have disappeared from a place like this. Really impossible. He'd have to be carried past the yard and gate guards. Could they have been accomplices to... Just a moment. Hello? Yes. What? Dead? Captain Duffy has died from an unknown cause. He was following up what he thought was a lead to this case. This leaves things where they were. Where's the body? I'm going over to see it. At the hospital. He was found unconscious on Northern Drive. Never came to, but he muttered something about a dragon and black perfume. Rather cryptic at the best. Mind if I examine the body? Ah, there is a faint odor of a flower, or spice, or something about the clothes. I'll scout around the place where he was picked up. Thanks, Doctor. I'll probably drop in later. It's about here he was found. There's nothing really here to discover. Ah, but wait a minute. A car pulls up to the curb, and an Oriental steps out. Something about a dragon and black perfume. Can this Hindu have anything to do with it? Quickly, Cosmo dives for a doorway as the stranger looks down the street and disappears into a nearby house. Hope he didn't notice me. But now, how to get in there without suspicion? That evening, Cosmo returns in the garb of a down-and-outer and knocks at the door. It'll take a cleverer man than I've met yet to recognize me in this disguise. Say, you haven't a bite to eat and a job for a fellow, have you? Come inside. I'll see what I can do. The master wants to see you. Come with me. Cosmo enters a great room, furnished in oriental splendor. Then, a door clangs to behind him. I don't like the look of this. A very sumptuous prison. Then a voice issues seemingly from an immense bronze dragon. I, the spirit of Garma, knows all, sees all. You are Cosmo, come to spy on what does not concern you. Therefore must you die. Slowly, the air fills with a rich, sweet smell of perfume. The air thickens with a black vapor. You shall live just long enough to leave here, and die on the streets where you belong. Cosmo begins to reel and gasp for air. This is what Captain Duffy discovered. Slowly, he crawls to a large fishbowl, dips his handkerchief into the water, and holds it to his nose and mouth. Staying close to the floor, he manages to retain his senses, until finally, the room clears, and someone enters. Spanky and Cranky, the twins. Cripes, I've been waiting for that Spanky over an hour. Keep me waiting, Willie, while I'll fix him in case he shows up. Ah, break my window, you young scamp. Me break your neck. Now where did that brat disappear to? Humph, humph, and humph. Meanwhile, Cranky's twin brother shows up at the meeting place, on the corner. Aha! Now I got you! Break my window, will you? This tanning will teach you to be more careful in the future, no? Bob Kane. Bruce Nelson, by Tom Hickey. Bruce Nelson and his native guide, Mambu, set fire to the headhunter's village, seized the heavily doped white goddess, and stole a native canoe. As they paddled furiously down the river, they heard savage shouts behind them. What's that roaring up ahead? Is there a falls in this river? This must be Cognac River. Roaring must be Great Cognac Falls. Head for shore. It's too late. We've hit the rapids. They're pulling us towards the falls. The light canoe was carried through the swift rapids like a matchstick in a whirlpool. Heavy spray dashed into the canoe, soaking its occupants to the skin. The girl is stirring. The stupor must be wearing off. The cool spray was like a tonic. As the effect of the native drug wore off, the white goddess revived. She sat up, blinking at the strangeness. Where am I? Who are you? This is no time for asking questions, sister. Just hold tight. Behind them, the savages in their war canoes stopped and watched, wide-eyed, as the trio were swept towards their doom. Mambu, see that tree ahead? If we can go under it, I think it's low enough for us to reach up and grab the trunk. It's our only chance. Ahead, The great Cognac Falls roared a warning of destruction. Suddenly, the swirling waters flung them towards the shore. A leaning palm tree jutted out over the rapids. Must keep boat in this course to pass under tree. If rapids carry us out towards middle, we miss it. Using every ounce of strength, they managed to keep the canoe headed towards the tree. Grab hold of my waist and hold on tight. I'm going to try and grab that trunk. Ready, Mambu? Here she comes. The canoe swept out from under them as they clung perilously to the trunk. The next minute, it went hurtling over the roaring falls. Here, give me your hand. I'll pull you up so you can grab the trunk. Then, moving slowly, hand over hand, they worked themselves cautiously into the shore. I guess we're safe from those headhunters now. Let's sit down and rest up a bit. And now, could you tell me who you are, and how I happen to be with you? Well, here's the story in a nutshell. Nelson recounted the story of how they were captured by the savages, their escape, the setting fire to the village, and the rescue with the aid of the stolen canoe. And there you have it. And now tell us your story. They call you the White Goddess, but you look like good old Mary Smith of the USA to me. You're right on the USA part, but my name is Tony Hutton. About 3 years ago I was on a hunting expedition with my father. Don't tell me your father was the missing Dwight Hutton, the famous big game hunter. Yes, Dwight Hutton was my father. He and every white man in his expedition died from a severe attack of jungle malaria. I had a touch of it. I wandered off into the jungle and became lost. I wandered for hours, half crazed with fever. Then a tribe of blacks found me. With them I regained my health. They evidently hadn't seen a white girl before, so they regarded me as a kind of goddess, brought me gifts and such. I wanted to escape, but I realized I hadn't a chance in the perils of the jungle. So I stayed on, living in hopes that someday one of my own race would happen along. Every once in a while a stupor seemed to settle over me, and there would be a complete void for what seemed about 2 days. And I never saw a white person until I came to, in your canoe. Those blacks realized that you would try something if you saw a white man. Therefore, each time they captured one, they put a native drug in your food. That accounts for the void you speak of, and the fact that you never saw a white person. That was the condition in which I found you. Things have been happening so fast, I forgot to thank you for... Skip it. Let's get going back to our camp. A couple of hours stiff walking brought them to a ridge overlooking the campsite. Looks like nobody there. They're probably searching for us. They reached the camp. A single native came forward to meet them, showing great surprise. He spoke in native jargon. He says rest have gone in search of us. We'll be back at sundown. Okay. Ask him if he can scrape up some food. We're starved. Mambu, we're breaking camp tomorrow. I'm calling the hunt off. I'm taking this girl back to civilization. She's been away from it for 3 years, and has had a mighty tough time of it. Just as you say, Tuan. Next day. Well, Tony? How does it feel to get some real clothes on again? I actually feel stuffy. Maybe I've gone native. I'm so glad you're going back with me, Bruce. So Bruce Nelson and a grateful Tony Hutton turned eager faces toward the good old USA as the shores of the dark continent slipped quietly behind them. The end. Slam Bradley by Jerry Siegel and Mart Bailey. The wealthy and socially prominent Clyde Winthrop is taking a group of blue blood friends on a slumming tour. Wisely, He has secured the services of Detectives Slam Bradley and Shorty Morgan as bodyguards. Let's see what those two erstwhile sleuths think of the situation. What saps we were, taking this assignment to play wet nurse to a couple old swells. Well, we're short on cash, and this job is better than none at all. How interesting. I thought you'd like it. Most of the guys here would scalp their best friend for a quarter. I don't like this place. You and me both. That bloke at the bar. I'll bet his pockets are bursting with cash. What say we help ourselves to some of it? Oops. Beg your pardon, Governor. That's quite all right. No, you don't. Hey! What? Let go of... Ow! Oh, so you want attention too, eh? Next instant, the room is a mass of flying fists and shouted curses as the brawl turns into a free-for-all. Come on, you scum! I've been aching for some exercise all day. Suddenly, out flashes the lights. Then... Yeah! What's that? Turn on the lights! When the lights flash on again, Winthrop's been stabbed and robbed. Somebody get an ambulance! Later, at the hospital, is he... I'm sorry. He's dead. Hold on. Where are we going? Back to that joint and learn the identity of those two killers. Several weeks later, at the FBI. Since the law has failed to locate Scar and Tony, I'd like to take a gander at their criminal records myself. You may look through the files. Well, learn anything? Not much. They both have served time here in the States. But here's something. They were recently released from the French Foreign Legion. I've got it. I'll bet they skipped the country and re-enlisted in the Legion. Well, so will we. What? Join the Legion? No siree. Not me. But that same day, Slam and Shorty fly toward Africa in a transatlantic clipper. And a few days later finds them enlisted in the Foreign Legion. Well, Shorty, we're in the Legion now. Yeah, for 5 years. Oh. Become a detective in 10 easy lessons. Phooey. Keep your chin up. Within record time, Slam and Shorty, full-fledged members in the Legion of the Damned, march across the burning desert to a fort in the midst of the Sahara. My gosh, look who the sergeant is. Scar Jensen. Pigs, understand that discipline here is stiff. Slackers beware. Say, haven't I seen your faces somewhere before? I'm sure you haven't, Sergeant. No, sir. The remainder of the day is spent by the newcomers in backbreaking drill. That evening, within their bunks, Slam and Shorty carry on a whispered conversation. What do we do now that we found Scar Jensen? Arrest him? Not yet. Let's wait until we can learn Tony Caputo's whereabouts. Unaware of an eavesdropper, the sergeant will be grateful to me for tipping him off. What do you want? Those two Americans. I just overheard them plotting to arrest and take you back to their country. American detectives, eh? I know just the way to dispose of them. Next morning. Understand? Yes. Once we are a safe distance from the fort, I am to shoot them down. Abacadabra, outlaw desert chief, is stirring up the tribes against the Legion. 2 brave men will be guided to him by one of our Arabs to deliver a message. Bradley and Morgan, forward step. Within this sealed envelope is an extremely important message. See that Abacadabra personally reads it. Yes, Sergeant. You know, Slam, I don't like this assignment at all. Suppose this Abacadabra gets a whim to wipe us out. Then it'll just be too bad for us. Now's my chance. Glimpsing the rifle aimed at their backs, Slam abruptly wheels his horse into their guides, unseating him. No, you don't! Who put you up to this? Scar Jensen? Yes, he... Good grief! He's shot! As Slam and Shorty turn. My gosh. Arabs. Look, Slam. There's someone else in here. Tony Caputo. You know me? You're under arrest, Tony. How did you get here? Scar wanted to get rid of me, so I was betrayed into the Arabs' hands. I don't care what happens to me, so long as he gets what's coming. Now that you've arrested him, what can you do about it? You forget, we're captives ourselves. He's motioning for us to follow him. Then let's go. No, no! They've prepared some fiendish torture. You are about to receive a strong lesson in humility. Hassan, the most able of my wrestlers, will crush you one by one. He's welcome to try. Stop him! He'll kill me! My arm! Ow! He's broken it! You next! I'm ready. Seizing Hassan's outthrust arm, Slam whirls him over his shoulder, crashes him to the ground. Oh! How's that? Then tosses him at nearby guards, upsetting them. You're welcome to him. Slam snatches up one of the guards' fallen rifle. Warn your men. If they try to follow us, I'll plant a bullet in your skull. Keep back. Do not harm the infidels. Well, Shorty, what do you say now? Pal, you're okay. Surprised to see us still alive? That Arab? Why, he's Abacadabra. You double-crosser. I'll blab all I know. Scar, the game's up. You're under arrest. Seize those madmen! A few moments later, the capture of Abacadabra will be a great feather in my cap. And as for you deserters, you face the justice of a firing squad. Oh, how I hate that guy. What I wouldn't give for one good poke at his jaw. At that moment, 1 second, what goes on here? We were about to shoot some cowardly deserters, Commandant, as an example for the other men. He's lying, sir. We're not deserters. Slam Bradley. Free those men. But... just what is going on here, Bradley? Shorty and I joined the Legion to track down Scar Jensen and Tony Caputo, who are wanted in the USA on murder charges. That's right. Scar killed that guy. You... seize him! You fool! You've betrayed us both! You'll fry, but I'll get a jail sentence. That's your reward for turning me over to the Arabs. But how did you immediately know my identity? I followed all your exploits with interest, Slam. I'm an ardent admirer of yours. Would you like my autograph? Later, at Legion headquarters. Because of the extraordinary service performed in capturing Abacadabra, we are releasing both of you from the Legion. You may return to your country with your prisoners. Thanks, Commandant. Whew. For a while, I was afraid we'd have to serve out the full term. The end.